Hello, I'm Carmon and welcome to the Featherweight Shop. We're continuing on with our discussion of featherweight motors. And today I want to discuss motor brushes. Although they're frequently overlooked, carbon brushes, that's these little guys here, they are critical. They're one of the most critical elements of an electric motor. The featherweight motor is located on the back of the machine with the belt attached to it, and the brushes are underneath a cap, one here and the other one on the bottom of the motor. This one on the bottom is accessed through a hole on the bottom of the machine. So the motor does not actually need removed to check these. Just turn the machine on its side and you can see the cap inside this hole here. A carbon brush, also known as a motor brush, is this small carbon block that conducts the electrical current between the stationary wires, the stator, and the rotating wires, which is the armature. A spring is used to push the brush down onto this piece called a commutator, and the simple explanation is that the electrical current is going through this cycle between the stator and the armature, which is causing the motor to spin. So when you are checking the brushes, remove the bakelite cap on both the top and bottom of the motor using the safety Vera screwdriver, being careful with these as these caps are bakelite and it's kind of brittle. If you have a motor where the bakelite cap is broken off, we do have another tutorial showing you how to remove that, and then we also have replacement caps as well. And the replacement caps are not brittle bakelite like the vintage original ones. The reproductions that we have are only available for the 3/8 inch cap, common on American featherweight motors. The larger 1/2 inch caps on the UK motors, they would have to be replaced with another vintage original cap. So once you get the brush cap off, you'll want to gently pull the brush out of the motor. Now occasionally you'll pull the brush, or you'll pull on the spring, and the spring will come off of the carbon block there, and the brush, that carbon block, will stay inside the motor. This is pretty common if there's oil or lubricant buildup and carbon buildup as well on the brush. In this case, you'll want a pair of fine tweezers to grab on the end of that brush and pull it out. If you find that the brushes are in there so tight that tweezers won't pull them out, at that point it's probably advisable to send your motor in for servicing. It will have to be completely opened up in order to service it and to get those brushes out. And because of the delicate wires in here, we don't recommend that you open your motor up without prior electrical motor experience. The next step, once you have the brushes removed, is to check the condition of them. They should be between 1/4 and 1/2 inch long and free from any oily residue. At this time, you would also clean out the brush tubes and, if necessary, clean any of the carbon buildup off of the commutator. Now this would be about the only time that I would use rubbing alcohol around a featherweight. Rubbing alcohol is detrimental to the clear coat on your machine, so keep it away from the painted surfaces. So using a cotton swab, just damp with rubbing alcohol, you would clean out the tube, pressing it up against the sides of the brush tube there, and then pressing it all the way down against the commutator. Here I'll show you this again on the cutaway motor. This is the motor brush tube here, and you would take your cotton swab to clean out that tube, and then you would press it all the way down against the commutator, and then you would turn the pulley, and just that little bit of rubbing alcohol should get rid of much of that carbon residue. The replacement brushes that have been available for many, many years have worked generally okay, and certainly better than worn out, oil-soaked original brushes. But they varied from batch to batch in size, and then they also did not have the correct curvature to the bottom of the brush, where it touches the commutator. So these brushes had to be ran for a while to be worn down enough for the whole brush to make even contact with the commutator. Another issue with the replacement brushes is that the carbon block was too soft. And it is very important that the brush be the proper density to maintain correct electrical resistance. And the soft density of these previous replacement brushes was causing the brush to wear out prematurely and also an inefficient transfer of electrical current. The good news, though, is that we have had motor brushes manufactured specifically for the featherweight motor. They are of the exact correct size, correct curvature, and are the same grade density as the vintage original brushes. Here's our new brush compared with a vintage original brush and then one of the previous generic replacements. And you can see the new brush looks the same as the vintage original, even the curvature to the bottom of the brush. Motor brushes typically last for years or even decades if the motor has been properly maintained. So if you check the brushes on your featherweight and you find that they're either short or oily or there's carbon buildup down inside the brush port, that's probably a good time to replace them. It's simple to do. You do need to replace both brushes at the same time, and therefore they are sold as a set. Simply insert the new brush with the curvature on the bottom of the brush matching the curvature of the top of the motor, and then screw the brush cap back in place. Our new brushes are marked FWS for Featherweight Shop so that you can be assured you're getting the correct brushes for your motor. Well, we hope you find our tutorials helpful in maintaining your featherweight. If you have any questions, just give us a call here at the Featherweight Shop. We're always glad to help. Have a great day.